On this week's Tory propaganda show, otherwise known as Laura Kuenssberg Live, she went in with one agenda, and that was simply to terrify her viewers into thinking they're going to be paying big tax rises in the budget on Wednesday. From the very first outset, she's talking about how big the tax rises are going to be, yet she doesn't know what they're going to be at all, because she doesn't know what's in the budget. And yet here she is on her flagship politics programme, claiming there's big tax rises coming and everybody should be worried. She then goes on to badger the Education Secretary on who is a working person. When she answered the question, it's very simple. If your main source of income comes from going out to work, then you're a working person. If you just sit around and you've got a load of assets that brings you in money, you're not a working person. I mean, it is possible that you have assets and you go out to work. And if it is still that your main income comes from going out to work, but you have an asset that tops it up, you're still a working person. I don't know why they keep badgering people to try and define the absolute minuscule piece of information that, oh, you might be a working person, but you might not be. It's just pathetic line of questioning. It really starting to grind my gears. So it was quite nice to see the former chief economist of the Bank of England, a guy who actually knows what he's talking about, actually school her on the government's finances and not pander to this Tory nonsense.
Rachel Reeves will bring us Labour's first budget in 15 years. So who will win and who will lose? There'll be huge tax rises and a squeeze on some spending. Maybe the biggest thing about the budget has already happened. The Chancellor has told us all that she's changing the way that the government calculates its debt and borrowing. And she credited you as one of the people who changed her mind. And in fact, it was in that seat that you said she should do it a few months ago. What do you think the change is going to be and why does it matter so much?
I mean, the key change is around the rule for debt and recognising that when spending takes place for investment, that is creating an asset as well as a liability. And that opens up some headroom for the government to do the right thing, just to invest big across our public services.
So in layman's terms, if a government borrows money to spend it on good stuff, that doesn't get counted against them.
That's right. That counts as an asset, not as a liability. And that's just what we need, because the investment is the absolute foundation stone for growth.
I'm not asking you about the details of the budget. I'm asking you what Labour means by a working person. Now, the Prime Minister's given one definition.
By logical
I'm asking you what you mean by a working person.
A working person is someone who derives their main income from going out to work. And coming out of this budget, people in that category will not see higher taxes on their payslip. I know it's frustrating ahead of a budget that I can talk about some areas but not all of it. But what I'm clear about is when people are after the budget, when they look at their payslip that they receive, what they will see is a Labour government that has prioritised making sure they do not see higher taxes, because we know for 14 years we've been going in the wrong direction.
But many people who run businesses may well see their taxes going up. People who are not wealthy but might maybe get their income from having a couple of rental flats that they might have scrimped and saved to buy. People who earn their income in different ways, not from being a salaried member of staff, may see their taxes going up. And I'm not asking you to tell us what's in the budget.
You are asking me to speculate, because that's hypothetical. Next weekend, after the budget, when Rachel Reeves, the Chancellor, is sat here, you can cover all of that. What I can say to you today, the clear direction that we have set out as a government is that we hold to our manifesto commitments not to increase VAT, national insurance or income tax on working people. And they will see that after the budget. Other measures, tax and spending, matters for the Chancellor, I'm afraid.
I'm going to try one more time. Is the owner of a small business a working person?
We can keep going around this loop, and I appreciate your frustration. I would love to come and say, here's all the measures, line by line. That's not my job, however. That's for the Chancellor. She'll address every question. I think it's our viewers who will be frustrated. Well, they haven't. I can get that, and they haven't got long to wait. The budget's on Wednesday, and the Chancellor can address that with you directly.
Since this government has been in charge, and with all the cues and hints that have been, what has actually happened in the economy that you can pin on them?
Well, I mean, the truth is, if you ask business, what do you need to make Britain a good place to do business? They will tell you improved schools, improved hospitals, improved roads, cheaper energy. So if the investment, the extra 20, 30 billion that has been mooted from the budget, is invested in those things, That is not crowding out private investment. That is crowding it in. It's responding to what business itself is telling us is needed to top up the investment the public sector provides from the business sector. And that, for me, is the absolute key to get growth going.
So what's the difference between who wins? You know, you read these warnings, if Trump ends up back in the White House, it could be a trade war in China that plunges everyone into recession. How do you see the two different contenders in that context?
Yeah, I mean, if Trump makes good on what he said, economic policy-wise, which means tariffs, it means immigration restrictions, it means deportation, that means higher inflation in the US, it means lower growth in the US, and probably higher interest rates in the US, and the rest of the world will catch a cold from that. So, you know, if you ask me, is Donald Trump a bigger threat to UK mortgage rates than Rachel Reeves? Of course he is. Because actually what Rachel's doing in her budget will be net good for growth, and therefore net good for mortgage rates in a way that Trump would not.
I really wish they'd just get rid of Laura Kuenssberg. I'm all up for the government being held to account, and you need to be asking some serious questions, but trying to get in these pathetic gotcha moments with what is a woman, or who is a working person, or who bought your pants. It's not serious journalism, and they need to replace them with someone like Victoria Derbyshire, because she doesn't take no nonsense and she doesn't ask silly questions. And as you can see in the video that's on screen now, she just talks absolute drivel. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to hit that like button, and I'll see you next time.